Welcome to another episode of the Philosophy of Chillin. I'm your host, Dunlap the Connect. And as you are joining me for another episode, you can see that I'm not here by myself. I'm joined by another individual, and I'm going to pass it off to them so that they can introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Brandy Shelton. I am the founder and co-owner of Just Add Honey Tea Company. We are a lifestyle loose leaf tea company located here in Atlanta on the East Side Beltline Trail. We also have an event space over there, production, where we make all of our custom blends, and we ship all around the world. We offer our tea bar to corporations, events. We do about 5 to 7 farmers markets a week here in town. And we feel like we're a staple and a pillar of the community because we've been around for almost 19 years.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
I am happy to have this individual with me today because looking into their company gave me so much excitement. And it was interesting because I felt some sort of fulfillment as I was reading you all's history. And I was like, why is this gravitating to me so heavily? Like, why am I feeling like I'm a part of this culture and community, even having just been introduced to it? So I had so many questions for you, and I had a very difficult time trying to figure out, okay, what's the umbrella of what I want to dive into with you? And after all of the contemplation and going back and forth, I essentially settled on how you prefaced your vision around longevity, and how you were able to pace yourself through the present moments that were happening versus now being in a position to where you can look back and reflect on everything and see, the progress that you've made along the way. So that being said, I wanted to go through longevity with you. And my first question was essentially, what was the seed that planted the vision for your company and kind of pulled you through all of the obstacles that let you know this is, meaningful?
Yeah. So I secured the name for Just Add Honey in 2003. It wasn't until I lost my mom in 2006 that I actually pursued the art of tea. And so, depending on what room I'm in, I tell a version of it because they're all true, but they're all parts of who I am. With my mom being the center of them. So it was, I come from the film and industry where I was a wardrobe and prop stylist.
Okay.
So print ads, commercials, online styling, I was that person. So there was another stylist that started her own soap line. And so she was like, well, you should set up your booth next to mine, or you should sell your tea next to mine. Or I could tell the story of how I traveled around the world and I enjoyed like recreating those parts of a little bit of Morocco or a little bit of England or a little bit of the Caribbean and making a cup. I could tell the story of how I enjoyed tea and ironing tablecloths and linen with my grandmother when I was a young child. Like all of those are parts of me that kind of culminated into who Just Add Honey is. That sweetness, that richness, that fullness that all goes into a cup. And so that's what we want our customers to feel. That's who our employees are. That's what they look like. We at first we're calling ourselves like sophisticated, like a sophisticated cup of tea, but then the word sophisticated means it excludes a certain class of people, right? So we took that that like tagline out. So now it's like fancy without the fuss, or
I like that.
yeah, or connecting unlikely circles over a cup of tea. Because would we have met if it wasn't for tea?
Ooh,
right?
That's good.
Or the employees that have created lifelong friendships. It was because of tea. Or the homeless guy and the Georgia State professor that have met and created a bond, and he's off the streets and now has he's getting his Social Security benefits because he has a full address to receive them. That was because of a cup of tea. Wow. Like, right? It wasn't because necessarily us, but the building, the safe space that we created, that feeling that you can't put on a spreadsheet.
Right.
It was that tea did that, right? So yes. And so when you ask like, what was that? I think it was all of those beginnings. And I come back to those every single time with the decisions that I make for our business that equals longevity, right? So I may not be as far along as my competition, or I may not be where another person thinks we should be, but I'm exactly where we are supposed to be.
Right.
Just taking one foot at a time and making sure each cup is made with that sweet, sweet love, that full circle moment and that cup of tea.
Right. Ooh, that was good. That was good.
That was off the cuff. Like, that was off the dome, but it's genuine, right? Yeah. It's not something that, like, I can, type that up and I probably won't say that twice, right? But I mean it, So.
I feel that. And honestly, that's kind of the energy that I feel in everything that I've seen when it comes to your branding. And I love that because it separates you from your competitors just by having that essence, to where you're like, okay, it's fine. I know they're out there, but this community cannot be duplicated or replicated unless it has the same intentionality that's being put into it. And it is so refreshing to have that, because even tasting, a little bit of your tea from the vending space that I was first introduced in, it was like, oh, dang, you really have the choice within you on if you're going to engage or if you're going to have this mixture in a certain way so that you receive this certain thirst quencher in a way. And not just in a sense of, okay, I'm drinking this physical product, but also in a sense of I'm surrounded by these genuine people where I'm attracting relationships that I didn't know I was going to before.
Right. Yeah. And that's the goal, right? Like, I think about even at the farmers market, our son runs the Piedmont Park Farmers Market, and now he's 16, but he joined us kind of like at 8 or 9 years old when we didn't have a babysitter.
Right.
It was like my husband and I played like rock, paper, scissors, and because we both had events on the Saturday, and he lost, and so our then younger son had to go to the farmer's market with my husband, and he's not a huge sports kid. So the connection with my husband was like free samples, iced tea, right? And so from that, he learned how to look people in the eye, how to have a conversation with someone, how to actually care about when he asks someone, how are they doing? He actually cares. Now the customers are like, what you doing for the summer, William? What's going on for, like, are you applying for, what colleges are you applying for? Like it's like a reciprocal relationship that has been created over the years. And I love all of our employees, but he could run circles around all of them, right? But they all are like amazing, right? I can talk about another employee who she had just graduated from college, and she started with us. And I was like, what do you want to do? And so she was like, well, I want to do marketing. And I was like, okay, got it. can you do a press release for us? Okay, it turned into a press release into, okay, you can't continue working behind the bar, but now you can take over doing social media and marketing for us in another capacity.
Aligning with your talents.
Totally. Into, let me give you a referral. And now she works for one of the largest nonprofits in the United States. Like, from that, here, how do we use this space to get you where you need to be? And how do we work together in regards to that? Same thing with our customers. I mean, so the relationship, while it is just a cup of tea, I feel like it's so much more than that.
Yeah. And honestly, that's the gravity of benefit that comes with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I have more questions, and it's like I'm just trying to figure out which way to go first. Okay. So before I because you touched on wealth too, and I was like, ooh, I got questions for that too. But okay, before I get into the wealth, I definitely wanted to ask you about the patience level. Because you can't have longevity without being able to get through storms and be able to just reassess yourself and make that decision to keep moving forward. And you work with tea, you work with honey. So it's like all of these elements are like
require patience.
Exactly. Yes. So it's how have you seen from the time that you started, especially to the moments that you relish in now, have you seen that not necessarily lessen, but that wisdom of patience evolve within you over time?
Personally, yes, but I had to get there, right? And certain people, places, things kind of force that on you, whether it's, we're 5 years later, we're still saying the C word, and COVID, so certain things will force, you to slow down. But I think tea does that too, right? You can take a cup of hibiscus and steep it for a minute, and it's going to be a light pink cup of water. Or you can let it take the time that it's supposed to, which is 5 to 7 minutes, and you're going to have this beautiful, bright pink tart hue, and the cup tastes perfect. So, what are you looking for, right? Are you looking for
That's a good question.
pink water, or are you looking for the perfect cup of tea? And so sometimes you got to meet in the middle, and then you throw a couple other things in it, and you're just like, okay, we got to go, right? But sometimes life requires that you make that perfect cup of tea, and so you're going to have to wait that 5 to 7 minutes for it to be that beautiful cup of hibiscus. And like with our customers, where we are is on the Beltline. We set expectations with that, right? Coffee culture is like, I need it now. And some of that we try and meet them in the middle, and we have things ready for them right now. But then there are some things we say, we're going to give you exactly what you asked for, but this is what it's going to take in order for you to get it. So do you still want that, or do you want something else? Ooh. Right? So we don't have hibiscus ready for you right now, but I'm going to give you exactly what you asked for. You want hibiscus? I got you. But it's going to take 5 to 7 minutes. Is that okay? And so then now the customer has to decide, do they want to wait?
Right.
Do they still want exactly what they asked for? Or do they want to compromise?
Y'all, she's talking about tea, but it goes so much deeper than that. Y'all have to pick it up how she's giving it to you right now, because she's educating you. These are definitely pillars of understanding that I can see how you've just collected all of the things along the way to just give back to the people that are around your space. And I love that. Oh our goodness, that's amazing. So one more thing I had to ask you, because I also wanted to get back to that wealth aspect, to where you've kind of seen the enrichment of your community and kind of get a vision of what you truly feel as if that space can grow into. But before I ask that, for you personally, when it came to having that professional shift into the tea space, into entrepreneurism, how was that realization like for you, and knowing that at that point in your life, your calling was pushing you towards something else?
Um, it's hard.
Mm.
And sometimes I still struggle with it, right?
Mhm.
Because the glamour of being an entrepreneur
Mhm.
is it's glamorized, right? Being an
Mhm.
entrepreneur is glamorized. But the day-to-day of being an entrepreneur
Mhm.
is can be, not is, can be hard and lonely.
Mhm.
And so finding your circle
Mhm.
of other entrepreneurs, and also that quiet time for yourself.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, that's a big one.
yeah, right?
Mhm.
Being able to find that moment to chill,
Yes, ma'am.
so that you can reset and recenter and go back to your why.
Mhm.
Also, that community that you have, like the Buy from the Black Woman, or the Gathering Spot, or
Mm.
there's the Lola. The Village Market. There's so many names of different tribes and
Mhm.
communities, just in Atlanta alone,
Mhm.
that will support other entrepreneurs, so that that journey doesn't feel so alone.
Mhm.
Helps uh, you, like, be able to shift if you are,
Mhm.
or propel you when you start.
Mm.
So like if you're shifting from a 9 to 5, and then your entrepreneurism is your 5 to 9,
Mhm.
there's places for you to have like a little wing of like wind beneath your wings.
Mhm.
Or if you're just kind of starting all from scratch, there are places for that as well. But it's not just the internet, right? You
Right.
actually have to actively seek those
Mhm.
places.
That connection is still important.
It's still important, right?
Mhm.
It's not, we have to, and be honest with it, right?
Mhm.
Everybody ain't gonna land. Everybody not your cup of tea, right?
Yeah, right.
But there are those people that are, and when they
Mhm.
are, don't necessarily want anything from them. You just want a shoulder, right?
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need it to be a transactional relationship.
Mhm.
The transaction is just
I
a space to
understand.
breathe, right?
Uh-huh.
Next to someone. So making sure that that is something you find.
Mhm.
So I make sure that I do that all often, and so that I can recenter myself.
Okay. That's so many nice pockets of ways that in which I want to, you know, go in a little deeper to kind of see your personality. But we're gonna have you on back again because I have so many questions. Because what does it look like for even an entrepreneur who has these systems around them to find those pockets for themselves, for that recollection and that re-energizing themselves so that they can, get back out there and forward and deal with the forward facing issues of the day to day. Because, once 7 o'clock hit in the morning, everybody's up and your phones start going off from 7 a.m. all the way till the next morning. So,
Right. Well, I mean, it's, and people like routine.
Mhm.
People like organization. No matter how much, like, even when you go into business for yourself,
Mhm.
you still need a routine,
Mhm.
because you gotta kill what you're gonna eat, right?
Mhm.
So I think it's important to put that even in your schedule, right?
Mhm.
Not necessarily networking,
Mhm.
but maybe it's you volunteering somewhere where you have
Right.
like-minded individuals.
Right.
Like maybe you are at a food bank, like those kind of, whatever your thing is. It
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily have to be a business to business card um, like interaction. It could just be something that fills you, and the people there, you will find each other.
Right.
So I love using like the gathering spot as a place because it's a social club of entrepreneurs and business people. Buy from a Black woman. It's in the name. It's a collective of Black women business owners. The Village Microfund or the Village Market. It is a marketplace or a microcosm, a village for business owners. The Lola, it's a women-owned co-working space, so it's specifically for them. There's, I mean, you know,
the list can go on.
I can go on and on, right?
Yes,
you know, we can go into other things like the Junior League, where you can volunteer with just other women and find different volunteer communities to support, and then you find other women to kind of lean on. And of course, I'm speaking women-based because that's what I identify as, but it could be for anything that is important to you, your business, your hobbies, your lifestyle, or socially that is important to you. It could be just a run club, right? It could be any type of activity that is an outlet for you that allows you to be around other people or things that interest you. So then it doesn't feel like a strain, right? If you ask me to go to a chess club meeting, I might.
If y'all got a cup of tea.
Right? No, I might need something stronger than that. But you know what I mean? So I'm not really interested in chess club.
Right.
So the pool for me is going to be a lot harder than if you asked me to go to a garden club meeting, right? If you asked me to go to a garden club meeting, I got the outfit. I'm like, you know,
I'm ready.
Let's go. You know, sun visor, all the things. So yeah, you got to find your people.
I love that. Okay, so as we kind of get to the closing of this episode, one of the last questions that I wanted to ask you, and please feel free, because now that we're in the last, closing couple of minutes, I also pass it off to my guests to ask me any questions that they may have.
Okay.
But the last thing I wanted to ask you, as far as the vision of wealth that you have and the aspects of it that you've gained along the way, whether it be from your personal or your professional journey running your company, what are some aspects that you're trying to nurture in your present and continue to grow for you all's future?
So personally, wealth to me is a level of comfort. It's not a dollar amount. Because I remember, because I remember saying, transparently, when we first started our first brick and mortar, we were on Auburn Avenue. And I remember saying, if we make $50 a day, it was a good day. And so we made $50 a day, right? Now, there's a couple of more zeros that go along with that, right? Somebody said, right? But that's still not enough. So to me, it's a level of comfort. And it's not a comfort for me. It's a comfort for everybody that works for me. So, right? So that means a living wage for my full-time employees. That means health insurance for my full-time employees. That means the cup of tea is a reasonably priced item for the customer that's in front of me. That means that we're still able to give scholarships to our high school students that work with us. That also means we continue to give 1% of all of our sales to a nonprofit every single month. So that is comfort, right? That's comfortable to me, and that feels good. So that is a level, so that to me feels like wealth. And so if I can move the needle from 1% to 5%, I am rich, right? If I can now give insurance to all my employees and not just my full-time employees, baby, right? So like those things to me are wealth. And that is what feels good, right? There are certain things like, yeah, of course, I can't just, I'm not Oprah. Like, you get you get dental, you get so-and-so, right? We're not there, but we offer fair wages. We treat people right. We do things the right way. I'm sure my employees are like, give me more, right? And so we're always looking for ways to offer more. But that means that as an owner, I'm responsible for spreading the word to get the people in the building. And then they're responsible for wowing, I curse, the shit out of the customer, right? So that they want to return. And so that's the challenge of a small business, right? If you don't like the starts with an S, ends with a Bucks on corner A, you're just not going to go to that one, but then you'll go to the one on corner B. If you don't like Just That Honey on corner A, you're just not going to come back. And then nobody eats, right? The 28 people that I have to pay every 2 weeks are just not going to eat. So it's like it's a circle teacup responsibility for both of us to stay wealthy, right? So I have to tell everybody how amazing we are. And then once they walk in the door, you have to show them how amazing we are, right? So that they tell somebody else how amazing we are. And then the circle of continues. And so then we all become wealthy in that portion of it. Because ain't nobody coming to save us. That's right. We have to save ourselves. So, yeah.
Oh, I like that. So with that being said, those are the questions that I have for today.
And I'll come back anytime.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we'll definitely
you come to the tea shop.
Oh, I most definitely will. I'll bring the cameras and everything.
Well, yeah, we'll do it.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes.
So lastly, if there's anything for me, please feel free to ask.
How do you chill?
How do I chill? Wow,
that's how we'll wrap.
How do I chill? I'm a reader.
Okay.
I love to read, even if I'm doing like audiobooks. I like to be able to surround myself with things that can feed me and that challenge me to grow, even if it's foreign to me. Outside of that, when I'm not able to read or like have those pockets of time to myself, I try to meditate and get like different spaces to where even if it's people around me, I try to work on at least that meditative breath control so that it can feed me throughout the day. Outside of that, I'm just honestly playing oceans in my head throughout the day. Yes, ma'am.
I love that. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And come see us at Just That Honey or order online at justthathoney.net.
And she's ahead of me because I was just about to pass it off to you.
Done.
So that you can let the people know where to find
We're
you.
done.
We love to see that. So find all her socials and everything attached below. She's already told you where to go. If you're not tapping into the community, I don't know what to tell you because I'm not getting my tea from anywhere else at this point. So y'all let me know. But with that being said, we can sit on this couch here and talk all day, but y'all have to go. So I've been Done Love to Connect, and this has been
Brandy Shelton.
And we out of here. Peace.
That was awesome.